prosperity begins with who you become. And I will say this again, because this is where most people don't realize is living prosperous, purpose-driven life is not about what you do. It's about who you're being while you're doing it. And so many people think that prosperity is a strategy, a marketing plan, and a moment of luck. That mentor is going to give you something. What they're going to do is show you, and they're teaching you about something what is possible if they're doing it authentically, and you're going to feel it. So your identity is what needs to shift. That's the operating system. So when you don't believe you're worthy, you choose from fear. You shrink your desires. You wait for evidence before you allow yourself to dream. This is when you come and ask me in sessions, how is this going to happen? Because you don't believe, you're waiting for the evidence. I want to give you permission to rise, permission to have, permission to shift. And this is your permission. Because miracles and everything, it is absolutely possible. So everything begins with who you decide to be. When I shift into the woman who leads herself and backs herself up, who trusts her inner knowing, more than you trust the fear, because I don't trust the fear. Everything changed for me. My relationships changed, my income changed, my life changed, my opportunities of people who I work with and who are in my life changed. The world around me rearranged because it matched my frequency. And I get to choose my frequency. You have the power of that. Not that you are born in this family and of course this family has this. You get to choose. You get to change. You get to align yourself. So purpose becomes clear when you're clear. Prosperity becomes stable when you become stable. Miracles become normal when you become match for them. Let us sink in. So every single desire exists in the universe, but exists in the frequency of that woman. If we're talking about a woman, we'll say a woman now, yeah? So the question is, how do you get to be there? How do you get the money, the clients, the manifesting partner, soulmate, love, whatever you want to dream life? The real question is who I must become to hold the life that I say that I want, that I write it down on my vision board, and I call it become board, not a vision board. And then opportunities are going to happen when I become that version. People will be different around you. You'll walk differently. You'll behave differently. You'll think differently. You will lead differently from that prosperous identity. So this is where you need to change. So if you want to have all of this stuff, it is absolutely possible. You're meant to live the life in overflow of love, of opportunities, of miracles, of a support. You can have overflow and declare to have overflow of what you choose to. So stop negotiating anymore with your past. The declaration, what you need to say, I'm ready, I'm open, and I'm becoming. And you choose that every single day. Speak to her like that. Move like her. Receive like her. Because the moment you shift your identity, your entire reality begins to shift with you. And this is the secret sauce. This is the work. This is the path to life of prosperity and purpose in your life. And I say this, and before I recorded this video, and for some reason, actually the voice didn't work. So I want to add this on. I talk about this. And maybe it's the first time you're hearing me and you don't know nothing about me. That things what I worked through in my life and the challenges what I had, I work through them. So I lead from authenticity, integrity, absolutely integrity. So I live in Australia as a single mother. I don't have no family. And when I divorced kids' dad, he was paying $50, $49.95, not even 10 years ago, for 2 children. And they were in school. I worked with him before. Obviously, when we separated, I didn't work with him because he didn't want me to work in a clinic. And I had to find a job. I then started off my business. Because all my life I had the healing in me, the energy healing, the seeing, the visions. And I was able to be free then and to do it. Obviously, because of the work, paying rent, all of that stuff, having children, I had to have 2 jobs at the time. So I worked through sheer determination. Sheer things where everyone was saying, just take it easy road, don't worry about it, don't do things. But if I did that, I wouldn't be helping people in the medical world from the healings what I performed, done, happened, witnessed, from women rising up through divorces, from women helping through domestic violence, through all sorts of things what I helped. And those people are here and they're rising. So if you ever think she's saying this, but she has got this backup, she has this, she doesn't have that life. I had that life. And when I talk about lighthouse, when my grandpa said before I was 15, when we lived in Croatia, he said to me, "Jelena, be a lighthouse," because he knew about the gift what I have got in me. And I didn't understand that. I really didn't understand it. And back in those times, Croatia was part of the communism. There was no books and stuff about energy healing and things like that. I couldn't. It was all what I was learning from, elderly people or other people, like verbally being told. There was no YouTube. And it was so confusing with so many questions what he came up. But he said to me, be a lighthouse. Be a lighthouse. And that meaning didn't come through until I was like mid my 30s when I was divorcing. And I was like, that is the time when I'm going to really step into a meaning of it, that being a lighthouse has got absolutely meaning. But it's nothing to do with the physical part of being a lighthouse. It's to be having faith through the hardship, through the challenges. We grow when we go through the challenges. We don't grow in a comfort. We grow through the challenges. We get to see some parts of ourselves and we get to choose, are we going to allow those parts to grow in us, or we are saying, no, I'm going to park you and put you in a filing cabinet. As adults, we get to choose that. As children, we are learning from our parents, grandparents' environment, what we are in. But I always say this, and this is where, in the beginning, sometimes we go through in a child, what happened to you, that you can realize things about yourself and the foundations, what you have got. Is it the worthiness? Is it the love? What you're having that you go to, that's your comfort. But it doesn't have to be anymore your comfort. You get to choose that. But you have to recognize and shine the light like a lighthouse on it safely. And then you get to choose what is going to be your truth. You get to choose it. You have the power, and that part can scare you sometimes because you go like, what do I do with that? What do I do? What do I do? But if you're doing in your heart, in the purest part and integrity of yourself and the world, then keep going. And some people will not going to understand you. When 20 years ago, and even more than that, when I came to Australia in my 20s, so I've been here just turning 25, 27 years is going to be coming up. And I was saying about chemicals and preservatives, how it's not healthy for people. Like, this is why people are going to get more and more sick. Look at it how many years later. And people said, oh, Jelena, just have this from the packet. Just have this and have this. And I was like, no, if my kids want to have a chocolate milk, I will grate the chocolate, put it in the milk. And I was getting raw milk, and I'm still doing the same thing. Healthy, raw ingredients what I know that are coming from Mother Nature, not from factory chemical enriched and saying natural flavors. So this is what I want you to really believe in yourself. And can you change your identity? And can you shift your beliefs? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely can. And this is my message for you today.